Hey, what's going on? Good Sunday afternoon. Super Bowl Sunday, that is. Welcome to the 95 North Sports Machine. I am your host, Berto, joined by my brother, Fat Boy Slim, better known as Smooth Smitty, the Smooth Criminal. We got Chris Tip, A1 Forevermore. And we got a special guest, man. Very special guest. His first live interaction, and so it's an honor and a privilege that you have joined us for this one. Bro Talk. Everybody knows him. Well, a lot of folks know him on Twitter. Very active mind in this Falcon space. So, Bro Talk, appreciate you having you on, man. Let the folks know a little bit about yourself and your Falcon fandom.
Well, guys, thank you for having me on. And and yeah, it's my first time. I was a little nervous thinking about it, telling my wife, I got to make sure I'm on time, make sure I get the briefing and make sure I'm ready for this thing. But yeah, I really became more active this year in Twitter, and I didn't realize a lot of people thought or disagreed with the way I thought, and it kind of blew up from there, and started making the connections there. But yeah, a little background on me: I'm into Dallas. I'm born and raised in Dallas, but I'm not a Cowboys fan. I actually troll my family, who are all Cowboy fans, and been a Falcons fan since '97. Kind of first generation immigrant, trying to figure out my way of who I'm going to cheer for. My friends, sorry, my new pup is chewing my stand right here. Sorry if the camera starts shaking.
No, you're good.
Trying to figure out who my team was going to be, flipping through the channels, and I fell in love with Jamal Anderson, the Dirty Bird. Obviously, I'm wearing the old logo. I love it, the black jerseys, all of that. And from '97 on, through the goods and the bads, I'm still here.
Awesome. That's
good egg stuff, right man. There. He is good egg right there.
Mm-hmm. Smitty, what you been up to, man? How's things been?
Man, you know what I be doing. Dropping content, man. That's about it. Like I told y'all from the jump, it's gonna be a good year. Draft time. There's gonna be a lot of information come out probably in the next 2 weeks after the combine. And I'm thinking with the new league year right around the corner, probably in about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Falcons gonna make some key moves, and I just feel it in my bones that they're gonna make a move that none of us seen coming. So as I look at it, I keep y'all up to date on the info like I always do. And if y'all haven't checked it out, if y'all haven't seen it, please go to the channel, check out my thoughts on a possible trade up with the New England Patriots and the reports that are out there. And I think it would benefit the Falcons a lot. And look at the video, and I tell y'all why.
Solid. Chris, what's going on with you, man?
Hey, man, it is crunch time, man. Crunch time. I'm waiting on summer 2024 because I will be graduating and done with this school. And boy, I can't.
Yes, sir.
Feel like I've been in school forever. Seriously, feel like high school all over again, man. I'm telling you, just virtual. But yeah, man. So I ain't gonna lie, working school been hitting me across the head, but still doing my best to provide content for, my followers. Shout out to my subscribers as well at A1 Forever Sports. And always a pleasure being up here with my brothers, Smooth Smitty and my brother Berto.
Yes, sir.
Take over Bleacher Report. And I'm glad to be on here with our guest, Bro Talk, man. We've had some interaction on Twitter as well. So this is going to be a wonderful show. Looking forward to seeing what these Falcons are going to do in the new league year, as Smitty was just indicating himself. It's going to be a party, y'all.
Yes, sir. Party indeed, man. And yep, like you mentioned, the
offseason. But before we move on, let me say something before we move on. I gotta give a shout out, man, to DeMario A. Scott. His father passed away. I think it was yesterday or Friday, and I'm gonna give him a shout out for this show, man. And he's one of the biggest Falcon fans out there, man. Every time you see the Falcons, you see DeMario. So shout out to him, man. Our prayers are with you. And trust me, Pop's in a better place, man. And I know you can't replace that, but trust me, God gonna stand behind you 100%.
I totally understand that, man. And
man.
Prayers definitely to DeMario. Is one not just a big Falcons, big Georgia sports fan, man. I don't see this man somewhere everywhere. So
Yeah.
definitely a big supporter. Definitely my condolences.
Yeah. He travels
to the
well.
family.
Braves, Falcons, Hawks, everybody.
Yeah, everywhere. So definitely my condolences to him and his family. Definitely understand what he's going through right now. So salute to you, my brother.
I got to meet DeMario in August when I made my trip down there, man. And, humble young man. Definitely, he represents the state of Georgia very, very well, man. So condolences to him and his family in this troubling time. So, yeah, man. Shout out to DeMario, man. Yeah, man. But, yeah. Off-season talk, man. Super Bowls today. After today, we probably expect a lot of news coming out from all teams in the NFL, but we're going to highlight specifically our Atlanta Falcons. Let's see what this. So today's show, what we plan on doing is breaking down the offensive part. This is going to be a part 1 and part 2 series of offense defense. So today, part 1, we're going to highlight the offense. We're going to give you some names that we could potentially see here in Atlanta. And in Atlanta, some contracts we could restructure. Some guys that maybe on the out. We're going to lay it all on the line for you guys and give you the best possible information that we have to provide to you guys. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up Sports Track. And as you all know, Sports Track keeps a running count on the all 32 teams salary cap situation. And the Falcons, again this year, have money. That's year 2 in a row, man, that these Atlanta Falcons have some money to go ahead and play with, man. As we all know, cap hell has been a thing of the past. Terry Fontenot came in and had to make some very tough decisions. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, etc. We already know that pass. But to now, we've been able to acquire so many good names: Caden Ellis, Jesse Bates, one of the best free agent signings in the past 20 years, Smitty, maybe ever since this big guy right here, John Abraham. So it's been a while, but it's good to have some money and good to be in that competitive market. As the Falcons are viewed as one of the teams that really are a few pieces away, both offensively and defensively, to really make some noise in 2024. Now led by new head coach Raheem Morris. So there's a lot of exciting times here in Atlanta. So let's get right to it. I'm going to share the screen with y'all right now. Here is a glimpse of what the Falcons are working with now in the 2024 salary cap. The estimated cap number with just 50 under contract is $25 million. 50 with the 51 rule, that balloons up to $29 million. So I fully expect the Falcons to be in this neighborhood here of $29.8 million to work with. There's not a lot of big contractual obligations that we have heading into 2024. Just this man, possibly right here, AJ Terrell. We could use, an abundance of that cap to go ahead and, sign him to an extension. But that's to be determined, and that will be determined fairly soon. But his market value is at 19.9. I think we spoke about, AJ Terrell a little bit, and we don't all feel that this number justifies, his next contract. To me, AJ is maybe a $16.5 million corner. His play has been fantastic, but how many Pro Bowls do you have really to show for? That's what the team's probably going to go at him and ask, what have you done for us lately? Unfortunately, he's been named to the Pro Bowl as an alternate, and I know that being a business, that's going to be held against him, but. The AJ Terrell situation should clear up fairly soon. We look at some of the contracts that we have on hand for the Atlanta Falcons, and we're highlighting the offensive guys. Jake Matthews, Chris Lindstrom, as we all know, was signed to a blockbuster deal last year, making him the highest paid guard in the NFL, and rightfully so. Chris Lindstrom has
money.
Yeah, he's been worth the money, man. A mainstay at the right guard position since he's been drafted out of Boston College. We have some new additions in Jesse Bates, of course, David Onyemata. So we have some contracts that we can go ahead and dabble into to balloon this number up of $29 million a little bit more. We were on Chase's panel the other night, Friday night, and Lieutenant Dan had an interesting on the Caleb McGarry situation. Shout out to Lieutenant Dan for that nugget that he dropped, man. Might not be the most attractive cut candidate, but trade candidate, most definitely so. The dead money or the dead cap situation is always something that you need to look at. And the Falcons, being some years removed from setting some historic marks at the dead cap position. Yeah, this seems like a fairly decent contract to get rid of. And my question to you guys is, do you think there will be a team out there that'd be crazy enough to trade possibly for Caleb McGarry? And what compensation would you guys want back for a guy, that plays not a prominent position in the NFL, but he does play a pretty important one at the right tackle position?
Go ahead, bro.
My thought is my thought on the Caleb McGarry situation is I don't think there's a market out there that another team's going to want to take it or even trade. And if they do, it's going to come out to a 6th or 7th round pick. And when you compare the dead cap money versus restructuring his contract, it just makes more sense to kind of, if Terry goes up to him and says, look, Caleb, your plays declined after you got paid this big contract. We're going to restructure you, and you got one more deal to show us that you're worth keeping here. I think the restructure is better for the team overall to increase the cap. It would keep the familiar faces across the line as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I know Storm Norton plugged and played very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But at the same time, Caleb is a better player. He just had a rough year, right? We can't overlook what he's done and what he is capable of doing. So my thought is restructure him, keep him one more year, and if it doesn't work out, it's time to, cut ties, or, whether it's the draft, free agency, or what have you. But I think he stays one more year with the Falcons on a restructure.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely. I believe. No, I believe the same thing, man. As far as trade value, you're not going to get a lot for him unless you just want to do a salary dump of the contract, just get rid of him to see whatever draft capital you can get back and just be cool with that. But restructuring him, definitely like Kev just said, it definitely helps us as far as salary cap wise. And that's what we need, as much money as we possibly can get. We have money, yes, but I want more. So, and familiarity, that's something that's just going through the franchise anyway. We see with the hires and just people that's going to possibly back with this team. So familiarity is surrounded around this team anyway. So it's a possibility that Caleb can definitely be a Falcon for one more year.
One more year. PFF graded the Falcons offensive line ranked number 4, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the NFL as one of the best groups. So you definitely want to keep that around. Smitty, what you want to add, brother?
The only concern I would have is will they run the ball like they did with Arthur Smith, and Caleb McGarry is a run blocker mostly. And that would be the only question. Could he, stand up against a strong pass rush on passing downs, and can he do it consistently? He probably could, but we know he had a problem with speed rushes. So I just think either like Todd McClure said, he probably put him into guard or switch Bergeron out to tackle. But like Kev said, I agree, one more year because it's too much dead cap space. So in that aspect, if you got to bring in a backup like Storm Norton last year, if you got to do that again this year, make sure you just got a standby player. But you got to stick by him because of the dead cap space. So, one more year I think he gets.
Can I chime in on one more thing with Caleb?
Of course, absolutely.
And his struggles? I think Arthur Smith kind of caused the struggles where we saw success the year prior in the running game. Just like Smitty said, he's a run blocking tackle. And you had these long developing plays where Caleb is weaker in the pass game with those speedy edge rushers. I think Zach Robinson can address those situations with a more flow to the offense that'll keep those edge rushers guessing to not know, hey, I can just tee off on the snap and get Caleb beat. It'll help overall, I think.
Yeah, that is a possibility.
Yeah, I can see that. I think the Rams' right tackle is Joe Noteboom, and he was kind of a turnstile like McGarry was. And within that Zach Robinson tutelage, we was able to see the best of him. Now he's regarded as one of the better pass protecting or just overall right tackles in the league. So hopefully that same trajectory could be had for Caleb McGarry. So we got to wait and see. Obviously, until these guys hit the field and build a more cohesiveness along the offensive line that we could possibly see.
And the positive out of it,
the best of this offensive line to come.
Right. And the positive is they still have Dwayne Leffert. So
Yep.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
helps a lot.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that is definitely a big positive right there.
Very big
Question
positive. Yeah.
about Caleb though.
What
Are
you
you
got?
guys would be interested in keeping Caleb and still possibly bringing in another name?
As like
Possibly, yeah. That's why I
competition,
said we
yeah.
had to have a
Yeah, as in
backup plan.
competition.
Yeah.
As competition, yeah, absolutely.
Somebody outside of Storm Norton, somebody like
Yeah.
maybe you can bring in a free agent, maybe somebody like Mike, what his name, from the tackle from the Patriots, Mike Inwenu or something like that. I
Oh man.
believe.
Oh, yeah. He was a
Massive
center
frame guy,
massive
6'3",
frame.
350, solid in pass protection, can get to the second level well, and he's played at every position except for center. So he's versatile, and he's
Very.
only allowed 3 sacks last year, probably between 14 and 16 mil, which is not bad for a guy who can pretty much play almost every position across the offensive line. You can put him anywhere.
And I'm glad you said that, because one name that I would be looking at this offseason, I'm gonna throw it up there on the video soon, is Evan Neal in New York. Had panned out in New York, top 5 pick, and he's just really not living up to the hype that he used to. So you put him on another, give him a fresh start. And the Falcons get him for a little, and then I think he's still on his rookie deal. So you make a trade for a 5th or 6th round pick, bring in an Evan Neal. He's also versatile, just like Chris just said. So it's going to be options out here, man. It just have to, you just have to, do your homework, like I always say.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I brought that name up a couple months ago on a Bleacher Report assignment, man. Evan Neal to the Falcons in a potential trade. I think a change in scenery is the best possible outcome for him. He was drafted highly some drafts ago, and the way these top picks have been going, man, we probably can get him for very little compensation, man. So
I actually have Evan Neal.
Right.
Yeah, I like Evan Neal as well. What you were saying, bro?
I was going to say, I actually have Evan Neal as a cap casualty for the Giants, so we may not have to trade for him.
That would be even sweeter.
Nice. I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
Even sweeter.
Oh, also, sleeper, Jonah Williams out of Cincinnati, a guy who requested a trade before, but he kind of recanted. I understand he's had some troubles, especially in pass blocking. But we're talking about if we wanted to get like a depth piece, I think you possibly can offer him a little small contract if everything else, so it doesn't fall into place.
I honestly think Jonah Williams will follow his OC down to Tennessee, and they
come on, man.
I know, party pooper, right? But I just think Tennessee needs help on the offensive line. He's familiar with the offense, and they may be able to pay him more than what we would. And of course, money talks, so he would then go there.
Absolutely. So this is all great talk. We're gonna highlight now the depth chart and start talking about these offensive pieces, which unfortunately the Falcons offense is much ridiculed, much controversial, especially at the most important position, and that's the quarterback position, y'all.
Quarterback.
Is it up? Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Yes.
Very cool. We're gonna dive right into it, man. I was gonna say, let's start from right tackle up. I think we spoke enough about the Gary situation, so we'll make our way. We'll end with Chris Lindstrom, which there's not gonna be any change there, obviously. The all too important quarterback position in this Falcons team. Taylor Heineke came in, as we all know, in that Tennessee game after Desmond Ridder was benched. And made a couple starts. Taylor Heineke, the most points were had under his guidance. Sure, but still proved to be a turnover machine in his own right, like Desmond Ridder was for most of the season. He didn't really live up to all the hype that a lot of folks had put behind him. I was one of those. I felt like Taylor Heineke could do some things in the Falcons offense, but he proved that he couldn't. So we go back to this year. We're going into this year. And as we heard from the presser with Coach Raheem, they want an elite style quarterback. They want somebody that's not going to be afraid to push the ball, in spots where they shouldn't go. Let's just put it like that. So they're going to be looking to upgrade at this position. Obviously, there are some names out there. The very popular name in Justin Fields. Caleb Williams is also a possibility in trade rumors. Drake May is starting to pick up some steam to Atlanta, another viable option. And then Jaden Daniels. Out of the three gentlemen, who do you see stands to have the best chance here in Atlanta with this offense, the way that it's structured, or it's going to be structured more so? But as it currently stands, which one of those three names would you like to see here in Atlanta? I'll start with you, bro.
The name I'd love to see as starting quarterback is Jaden Daniels. That's my number one, who a lot of people still don't believe he can fall to 8. But, I mean, you just saw the talk on New England possibly trading back. And if they don't get what they want, they're gonna pass on a quarterback. They're either going to go for a tackle or a wide receiver. And then it just continues to fall. I don't think anyone else in front of us is going to quarterback. I think it's going to go Caleb Williams obviously is the favorite to go number 1, especially if he falls into the Commander's lap. They're like, that's a no-brainer for them with Cliff Kingsbury at OC. And then Drake may get taken. Now that the Patriots have announced that they may fall back, I'm kind of up in the air with Drake May. For me, it's always been Drake May or Jaden Daniels. I'd be okay with whoever we get in that situation. Jaden is slightly above Drake May for me just because of his athletic ability and his raw talent that can be developed. But ultimately, any of the 3 top prospects, if we traded up and got Caleb Williams, I'd be happy as well because he has the talent. You see it on the film.
Does it not concern you how much of an improviser he is at that position? Caleb Williams, you see a lot of his tape. He's consistently on the run. He doesn't really have a solid base that he ever throws from. I mean, that could be, that could be the offensive scheme that he was under might not have been his best strength, or the offensive line. There was certain leaks, but to me, I think Caleb Williams just brings more mechanical tools or more things that you would have to settle down in a quarterback that's constantly on the run on the run for. But what you say about him, and how you feel is also valid. My guy for me would be, Drake May, or Justin Fields. I mean, either one of the 2 guys that come here to Atlanta, I'd be fucking head over heels with and thrilled for. I'll spit mine on Justin Fields, man. I think Justin Fields, you put him in this offensive group, man, and it's like I said before, man, scary times in Atlanta. You take a skill set like a Justin Fields, and you integrate that with the running game that we currently have, and who knows, it might be even better under Zach Robinson's tutelage. Who knows? Michael Pitre comes back as the running backs coach, so that cohesiveness in that unit is going to still be there, and it's going to just be fun to see what elements Zach Robinson adds to passing situations involving the 2 backs. RPO is another thing I spoke about as well. That could really breathe some life into this Falcons offense and really maximize and capitalize guys like Drake London, guys like Kyle Pitts, possibly Van Jefferson, but we'll get to these names in a moment. And then if the Falcons want to take what they may think is the safest route, go young, Drake May is my guy. 6'4", 220 pounds. The guy threads the needle. He has an excellent arm. He's not afraid to push the ball down. And it'll be nice to see how Zach Robinson could groom him and bring him up. Zach Robinson's a guy, that's worked with the likes of Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, and the guy now, Matthew Stafford. So he has, a track of succession with these guys. So it'll be interesting to see. But either one of those guys that are here in Atlanta tapped into this offense, I'd be 100% okay with. But I'll flip it over to Smitty. Smitty, what do you think as far as the quarterback position? How do you feel that's going to go?
I think they bring in 2 new guys. If anything, if Ritter stays, he'll probably be 3rd string. But if I'm going through the draft, I've said it for about the last 3-4 months. Drake May is that dude. And what's funny, people are talking about his season last year, but you got to think the ACC was better this year.
Competition was, yeah.
And as I look at it, he's getting the same type of attention like Justin Herbert, how people were questioning, was he accurate? Could he be a long-term solution? And he's showing he just got a contract. And Drake May is the same exact, almost the same exact size, and probably 1.5 inches shorter. So when I see that rocket arm talent and the weapons that the Falcons have, it's just a perfect blend if you think about it. Zach Robinson's play calling with Matthew Stafford. You saw him work wonders with Baker Mayfield when he was there for a little while. So when it comes to developing quarterbacks, I think he can be that dude. So what I'm looking at, other than Drake May, probably go out and get a veteran, say like a Jacoby Brissett, who's been a reliable backup, a Tyrod Taylor or someone like that. So they bring in 2 new quarterbacks, and he gets to learn under the veteran and under the offensive coordinator. And we got a quarterback coach this year. So it's going to be sky's the limit for the quarterback this year in Atlanta. So I think they've made the right move so far to ensure that we have an effective quarterback in place come this season.
Gotcha.
Okay.
What say you, Chris?
All right, guys. Now I'm team young. I'm team, saying go young guy. I'm team young saying go young guy. And I want to say the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons is Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, okay? Passing, he was close to 4,000 yards, 72% completion percentage, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I mean, you like rushing too, right? Y'all like that, right? Okay, well, he had over 1,100 yards in that area, and he also had 10 rushing touchdowns. The guy is smart. He's a locker room guy, anticipates his throws and leads receivers, not staring down receivers as we're used to in Atlanta. He's decisive.
Who did that?
Who threw that? not turnover prone. The people are questioning his durability, but I believe we have the coaching staff that can coach him up and let him learn when to slide and when not to, when to stay in the pocket, all those good things. He has intangibles of being a winning quarterback in this league. If you look at his stats, he's done nothing but just go up and up and up each year. I want a quarterback that that seems like he's continuously getting better after having a subpar start to his career. This is Jaden Daniels. He is a dual threat quarterback, and with this coaching staff who have a quarterback's coach and also brought in another guy who works with the quarterbacks, Williams' son, DJ Williams. So all indications to me is leading that if you're bringing in all these different offensive minds, especially particularly around the quarterback, you're going to have a young guy in here. And it may be Justin Fields. I'm not ruling that out as well. But I know he's a 3-year veteran, but I still like Jaden Daniels and what he can be over what I've seen from Justin Fields. Yeah. Because what I've seen from Justin Fields is 40 touchdowns and 30 career interceptions. And last year, only 61% of his completions. Regardless, the man has to do his job. We can talk about the front office, the coaching, and all that stuff. But it's some times where you can just look at film and just see, hey, that's Justin's fault. So come on now. I like Jaden Daniels for the Falcons quarterback. Go out and get another guy that can possibly be like a Tyrod Taylor, like Smitty was saying, not necessarily saying a Russell Wilson or a Kirk Cousins, but somebody a little lesser. And then also, do not be surprised, y'all, because it's our job to give out the scenarios to our viewers and everybody who comes across this. It's a possible scenario that we could possibly have Desmond Ridder on this roster. He still has his rookie contract, and with Zach Robinson coming in, and as much as we were talking about how Ridder and Arthur Smith didn't do him any favors, it's a possibility this coaching staff may be like, hey, we probably can fix him. We possibly could still use him and use the flexibility of the contract because we don't have to pay him like that right now. And we can fill in other places and put pieces around a young quarterback, regardless whether it's Ridder, Fields, or Daniels, or Drake May, because I'm not slandering him as well. But I'm just saying we're talking about guys that we want. I want Jaden Daniels, and then after that, possibly Drake May. I'm not sold on Justin Fields. I'm just not. After what I've seen, I know he can be in a better offense, but I'm just not sold on the guy. Give me my guy, not a retread or not somebody else's castaway. Give me Jaden Daniels.
Whoo, man, you put a little oomph on that one.
Can I add a little bit on this quarterback?
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
Okay. So to touch on what you asked earlier on Caleb Williams, the reason I have him third on the 3 top prospect is just like you said, his reluctancy, is that if that's the word, or his hesitation to just make the throw as the plays develop. It almost seems like he's looking to scramble and break down the play, and then the arm strength is there. Like some of the throws he made
100%.
were amazing. But the fact is, we're looking for a pocket presence quarterback, kind of like Lamar Jackson, but can escape and run. But he's looking to, run the play as it's designed. So that's why Caleb's lower for me. Now, as far as Justin Fields go, I would be okay bringing him in here too. My thing with him is he has the same. Think about this. He has the same type of body as a Patrick Mahomes. The biggest difference between the two is Patrick Mahomes has the confidence to make the throw, even if it's the wrong throw. He has that confidence. I don't think Justin has that confidence. And Zach Robinson and that coaching staff could bring that confidence back up. We saw it at Ohio State. Ohio State, he was lights out. You know, you see the difference. CJ Stroud came from the same program, but what's the difference? The coaching staff rallies around him and gives him the confidence and simplifies the offense. And Luke Getsy in Chicago did Justin no favors.
None at all.
So that's why I'm still on the Justin Fields train. Now, as far as the backup goes, I think Ritter stays. I think Terry in the office, just like you pointed out, it's a cheap contract. Why spend some money on a backup when you can bring in your starter and keep Ritter and develop in the background? Whereas if the starter does get hurt, whether it's Jaden, Drake, or whoever the quarterback is, Ritter can come in and just do his job, limit the turnovers, hand the ball off, make simple throws, and win us a game as a backup.
Solid points. And the one thing that you can appreciate that Coach Raheem has already have done, I think there's not one position that's getting more attention of obviously than the quarterback position. I think there's like 3 quarterback assistants that are on staff now, and then the most recent hire, DJ Williams from New Orleans. So they want to rectify this situation like today, like now, and you can appreciate that because last year under Coach Arthur Smith's offensive guidance, he had wrong people at wrong spots. You know what I mean? Now TJ Yates is the quarterback coach, but Zach Robinson serves as one as well. DJ Williams comes in. Matt Schaub is still on the staff. That's a guy that can have a point or two in this whole quarterback situation as well. So there's a lot of knowledge on that side of the ball now more than there was last year. So I think we're all in agreement, man. There is going to be a substantial change within the quarterback room. Some of them say that Desmond will stick around. I for one, I don't know if Desmond Ritter will stick around. I saw a report this morning that he might be part of a trade package. Who knows? And whether that's true or not, we can only speculate. That's as best as I can put it. But moving on from the ever so talked about quarterback position, the running back position. As we all know, last year's rookie phenom Bijan Robinson taken at 8. Just a year before that, we took Tyler Algier in the 5th round, BYU standout. Broke Willie Andrews' rookie rushing record, with over 1,036 yards. He kind of regressed last year in this Arthur Smith offense, but in this new Zach Robinson, he could probably stand as the most beneficial one of the 2 running backs. Also, Cordero Patterson was on hand. The joker position that was just a joke in general. They poorly utilized us. Poorly utilized all year, man. I know that injuries really wasn't in favor. Well, was heavily on his side as he was hurt, and maybe that played a role into him not seeing the snaps that we thought that he may get. But nonetheless, Cordero Patterson, as great as he's been, revitalized his career in 2021 with the Falcons. I just don't see this gentleman coming back. I don't think Carlos Washington gets a look either as being elevated to a 3rd running back in this group. But what do you guys feel? Does Cordero Patterson come back, or this is it for him in Atlanta?
I think he's gone, y'all.
Only way he comes back is that makes sense as a cheap contract, but which may be all he can get at his age. And it's a shame how he would have utilized last year, because as you were talking of the joker position, he was Deebo Samuel before Deebo Samuel set foot in the league. And the fact that we didn't utilize him like that is just crazy. It's just baffling. And you saw him on Twitter. He said like, oh, it's not that. It's not Coach Smith. We all knew what he was saying. We all knew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. Smitty, what do you got?
Yeah, I think he's gone, man, to be honest. He could come back on a cheaper deal, which he's probably fine with, because he's already said it's not about the money playing in Atlanta. He's just gotten comfortable. But to be honest, if you can get him on a cheaper deal, like a $2.5 million deal, he's still a threat in the return game. He's still a threat as a running back, and he's still a threat as a wide receiver. And, age is kicking in, so the money is going to shrink. So if they can bring him back at a cheaper deal, I think I'd go for it. But in all fairness, I think if that doesn't happen, he's probably elsewhere. And I think we look for a running back probably on day 3.
Right.
Nice.
I believe that as well. I believe Cordero's gone, y'all. I just, as much as I hate to say it, man, it's just how it happens. I think he's gone.
I'd like to see, if he doesn't come back, which I feel like he's not going to come back. And this is to even say if we will utilize 3 running backs in this system now. But if we do, Clyde Edwards-Helaire would make a nice solid 3rd running back in this offense. I really do feel like, he's been an afterthought, so to say, since his rookie season. He had that tremendous rookie outburst, and it's kind of been crickets from there on out. I know he's had some injury. Yeah, he's playing in the Super Bowl today. I think he could be one of those, unsung heroes, so to say, in this offense, and probably won't cost a lot neither.
I just hope he wouldn't turn into Damian Williams. One play and it's over with.
One play and it's over with for real. But that's who knows. That's something to keep an eye on now. And we move on to the wide receiver position, the skill guys. Drake, as we all know, is under contract. Matt Collins, Scotty Miller. I don't think these gentlemen are coming back. Austin Mack and Josh Ali give us the 3 formidable guys that are on contract for the Atlanta Falcons next year. Where Van Jefferson, let me touch on him right quick. Van Jefferson is a guy that I felt like was done, but it could have been more that he wasn't a fit for the Arthur Smith scheme. But now he walks into a situation where, hey, he has a relationship with Zach Robinson. He's been under that offense now. So Van Jefferson could very well be wide receiver number 2 going forward, or wide receiver number 3 at that. But what do you guys feel?
Let's just remember that Tutu Atwell came in and took some of his snaps.
Sure did.
Puka Nacua came in and was just a straight phenom.
Man.
And Cooper Kupp is running the whole wide receiver thing out there in LA. So he ran out of spots. So it's a possibility that he could be back with familiar faces, familiarity. So he could be back with familiar faces. My thing is, what's that price tag? Because it is time to pay Van. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of deal is he looking for. At this point, not having as much production.
It won't be much, I tell you that.
Yeah. This ain't 2021. So
yeah, I mean he was in a piece of that Rams team, man.
That's why I said this ain't 2021 though.
Yeah.
Right. But Kadera Hodge, I think, is safe. Because of his special teams prowess, so I think he comes back. Van Jefferson, with his familiarity with the offense, I think he comes back on a team-friendly deal. Scotty Miller, I think he's gone. Matt Hollins is gone. Chris Blair, he's just a XFL call-up and one of those future contract guys. So Van Jefferson and Kadera Hodge, I think they return somehow. But everybody else on this list is probably going except Josh Ali. But that's just my thoughts on the wide receiver position. Go ahead, Kev. My bad.
You're good. You're good. Actually, I think Scotty's coming back and Hodge is gone. Just for the fact that it's an age factor. I view them as the same type of receiver, a small slot type guy, speedy guy. But Scotty, you could probably get at a better deal. He could plug in Hodge's spot on the special teams. And I'm on the same boat. I thought Van was going to be gone, but now that Zach Robinson is here, I don't think he gets more than anywhere from $2 to $4 million on a 1-year deal, because we're going to be in 11 personnel. So we definitely need those 3. We need the 3 starting receivers, and I really hope if we end up keeping our 2nd round pick and we don't trade for Justin Fields, that we target the wide receiver, Lad McConkey. Maybe even
Lad did.
Lad's stock is climbing because of what he did in the Senior Bowl. But there's plenty of receivers in this draft class that you could snag one in the 2nd to 4th round, and they can flourish. As far as the big names in free agency, I just don't see it. Their price is too much. I know everyone's on the T. Higgins boat. I just think his price tag is too much, and he's almost like a Drake London, big, lengthy receiver. He might. Right. But then the Bengals have to pay Jamar Chase. What does that look like? I haven't gotten into the Bengals salary cap situation just yet to look at it, but A T. Higgins. I don't want to overpay Gabe Davis. I think he was a beneficiary of having Josh Allen as his quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, those big name. Michael Pittman is the same as Drake London. So
exactly.
There's no real big name receiver that's hitting. Yeah, exactly. And there's no big name on the market that I would say, yeah, let's go after him. I'd like to re-sign personally Scotty Miller. I love Hodge. So if he came back on a team-friendly deal, that'd be awesome. And Van Jefferson, and then just target the draft and wide receivers. That's what I think the team should do.
Awesome, man. Hey, man, shout out shout out to Cat, first of all, man. Sorry, Smitty. Go ahead.
One name that I would look out for, and I did a draft profile on him already, is Xavier Worthy from Texas. You talk about a guy with size, speed. He's one of those guys that's going to be a sleeper. And as this process goes, I think Xavier Worthy could go at the bottom of the first. You look at a team like Kansas City, who's in the Super Bowl this week. Xavier Worthy on that team, man, it would be scary. But with all these weapons we have, a guy with 6'1", about 195 with that kind of speed could be dangerous.
Man.
Indeed. Hey, I'm going to tell you another guy we're talking about since we're on receivers. Another guy, and we talk about the Maserati Marvs, the nasty neighbors, even Rome. But I don't think none of those guys are going to be there. But a guy that you can also look at, and I like that that bro actually mentioned Ladd McConkey, because that was one of the guys I was going to mention as well. But a Brian Thomas Jr. Played for LSU, over 1,100 yards, 17 touchdowns. He's a big receiver, 6'5", 198, a big play ready to happen. You put him on the other side of Drake London. Woo! I'm talking about big plays down the field. Get you a Jaden Daniels or a quarterback that's not afraid to push it down the field. Woo! Atlanta Falcons got themselves an offense. High power.
Goddamn. But yeah, man, I was gonna say, man, shout out to chat for being in here today. But shout out, man, Falcons 4L, man, brought up two names that I was definitely intrigued by, possibly in free agency. One of which is not a free agent, but one is Marquise Hollywood Brown with Arizona. If Scotty Miller doesn't come back, he could be a name to look out for. You know, a guy that could take the top off for defense. You know, he really couldn't establish himself last year because he didn't have Kyler Murray. Just, you know, inconsistent quarterback play in that system last year. But he's a name to look out for. And the other guy there, man, the wily veteran, man, Keenan Allen could be an interesting name. Plug and play here in Atlanta. Chandler Whitmer, who was with the Chargers last year as a passing game coordinator, now is here in Atlanta in that same capacity. And, you know, and right now the Chargers, they're in cap hell. They're over $44 million in cap space. So they're going to have to trim some fat, and they have a lot of big salaries. And his name is there alongside, you know, Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, etc. But Keenan Allen is a name to look out. Yeah, I mean, his health, but when he's healthy, boy, that he can ball.
Yeah, he's still an elite route runner.
Receiver.
He's still a technician at the wide receiver position, man. And it'll help a guy like Drake London also learn, you know, good habits at the wide receiver position. You know, all the year we've been so spoiled at this position. You know, Julio, Roddy, I'll say his name, Harry Douglas was a good wide receiver.
Yeah, he's very serviceable here.
Very serviceable. You know, had a 1,000-yard year when everybody else around him was falling like flies. But yeah, that's exactly what you kind of want in a Keenan Allen and Drake London pairing. You know, it's just what the wily vet can teach the young pup, and then just have him, you know, just sprinkle that down to anybody else that comes into this Falcons wide receiver room. So as it all stands, man, we're definitely going to have some upgrades here in Atlanta with the wide receiver position. A lot of great names.
Got another name for you.
Go ahead, bro.
Got another name for another guy that could be a sleeper who you can possibly get in the second round. Guy that may drop. I don't think he'll make it to the third round. I think he's got talent enough to be a second rounder. A.D. Mitchell. I know he played in the Big 12 with Texas, but he did play in the SEC with Georgia and was on that team that, you know, that won national championship. So a guy, he had 11 touchdowns last year, 845 yards, 55 receptions. It's another guy that you can definitely plug into this Atlanta Falcons offense and to be dynamic. A guy he can definitely go up and get the ball at his highest point.
The part is I had that guy going in the 20 range.
Yeah, I have him in the first round as well.
20.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
20
just
range.
throwing another name out there that possibly could drop. We'll see how. Well, you never know how this thing plays out. We still got to go through the combine. Still got to get to the draft. But just throwing that names that I like: Thomas.
Quick question.
A.D. Mitchell.
Quick question from Carl Vincent. He wants to know, how do I feel about picking up Julio for one last year to finish his career? No, I think his time in Atlanta is just over. And to be honest, I think he has one foot in the retirement door. Canton will be calling him soon, so I'd say no, Carl. Quick answer though. Anybody else want to throw their answer out to that?
I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think his time is done the way it ended.
Thank you spoke for all of us, man. I don't think it is. I'm just having flashbacks. Julio, you and what you doing in Atlanta? Oh man, I'm out of here, man. I'm out of there.
Oh man,
I'm just saying, so everything that happened to you after Atlanta, brother, is on you, dog.
Yeah.
But I appreciate your services when you was here, you know,
Absolutely.
in Atlanta and what you did. You'll always be appreciated for that.
Absolutely.
But, there's nothing for you really to do here at this point in time for Atlanta. We're onward and upward. And if we're talking about retreads, man, you don't been everywhere, man. Everybody don't have you now. I don't want you no more.
Yeah. Damn.
I don't have you now, bro. I don't want you no more. I'm good. Let's move forward. Man. If we're gonna do that, we might as well try to go ahead and play our hand for Maserati Mob, because that's that's a 2.0 Julio Jones coming out in this draft this year. Y'all just want Julio so bad.
Yeah, man. Moving on to this end of conversation, man. The ever so much talked about Kyle Pitts, our unicorn, man. As we all know, we found out that he played with more than just an ACL injury. He had, I guess, a PCL or something like that. So there was multiple things happening with his knee. Really didn't have or allow him to have a healthy season. But now, 2 years removed, starting this year, Kyle Pitts could stand to have a breakout year in his own right, man. We've been waiting for it since his rookie year. But of course, quarterback play the past 2 years hasn't been in his favor per se. Hopefully, with the room standing to be elevated in this offseason, Kyle Pitts, we could very well see that version of 2021 that we all were entertained to. But Kyle Pitts, 11 personnel, probably going to be hand in the ground sort of tight end, depending on how Zach Robinson wants to use him, and use him kind of like how Arthur used him in his first year, man, just moving him from the Z position to X position, in the slot, etc. There could be multiple ways, but with us running more 11 personnel, these guys over here are at risk of losing their jobs. So Tucker Fisk and Michael Pruitt, possibly a Jonnu Smith, more so Jonnu Smith. Because of his contract. It's anywhere from $6 to $9 million that we would save if we do cut him, and of course it's a business. But with 11 personnel, you might not see a lot of 2 tight end sets. So, and it's if they want to constantly run that. You try to trade him. I know we traded from New England, and we got a 7th. Maybe we can recoup that 7 in this year's draft. But what do you guys see playing out at the tight end position for the Atlanta Falcons? Bro, I'll start with you, bro.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Well, yeah, just like you said, I think Kyle Pitts has a bounce back year. It's a damn shame. You shake your head at the fact that he was playing, and as a coach and an organization, you have to protect the players against themselves. I know he wanted to be out there, but we all saw it. He wasn't running full speed, and ultimately, it didn't happen. But he could have re-injured that knee, and now guess what? It's either career-ending or he's out even longer. So that on that point, but. Yeah, I think he's going to have his hand in the ground a lot. I think he's going to be, maybe if he's in a 2-point stance, he's kind of shaded off, more of a chip, kind of a setting the tone on the edge, on toss plays, things like that. So he's going to have a lot of work to do to work on his blocking ability. As far as Jonnu Smith, he's a sleeper cap casualty for me because just like you touched on, how much money you can save. Yeah, he restructured his contract. Yeah, it only cost us a 7th-round pick, and his production was great.
Sure,
it's a different offense. You look at it as a front office. You look at it. How are we going to utilize him? Well, not very much. So is he worth the $6 to $9 million that we're going to be paying? And I think the answer is no. You cut him, you save the money, and then you draft a younger tight end in the 6th, 7th, or whatever round in day 3 that you can get him, or you sign someone from the Rams organization that was maybe a third stringer that can be utilized in those jumbo packages that
Right.
23 personnel or 13 personnel or what have you. But unless Jonnu agrees to another restructure, I think he's gone. And then only Kyle Pitts is here. We'll have new faces in the tight end room.
Well, that's coming into it. What we still have? John Fitzpatrick. We still got Parker Hess somewhere around in there.
Parker Hess, he's going to Pittsburgh, man. Arthur Smith's already coaching him.
That's right. He was going to be.
Smitty turned his camera off because he's weeping and crying. That's his guy.
Yeah, about Parker Hess. Yeah, I know.
Parker Hess.
Well, anyway, you still do have John Fitzpatrick.
I heard that.
It's McCole Pruitt. And everything as well with Kyle Pitts getting his reps, because I think that's what Kyle Pitts needs. He's had a successful season as far as health-wise. So I believe next year his mental will be different, and he'll be able to step out more confidently on the football field. So go ahead and get him his touches, his reps. Go ahead and either cut Jonnu or see if you can get a draft pick, even if it's the lowest grade draft picks for him. Get him off of here, because I don't see him restructuring, because he did have a productive year. Why am I restructuring? And I was tight end 1. So go ahead and try to see if you can cut him or trade him, and see what the rest of you have with your tight end room. If you want to bring in another guy as well, then that's something that you can possibly look into as well.
Absolutely.
I think with the tight end position, I think John Fitzpatrick is a blocking tight end, so I think he's safe because he's a special teams piece as well. With Jonnu Smith, I think you try to recruit that 7th-round pick, or you cut him, take the money. But I think with what Sam Laporta did in Detroit last year lets us know that a first-round tight end doesn't have to be a first-round tight end. You can get a tight end in 3rd or 4th round and get production out of him. Just like the wide receiver position, I tell y'all all the time, that's one of the most replenishable positions on the field. And I think tight end is second, because you can get a guy that can block and catch probably on late day 2 or early day 3 and get the same results. So Kyle Pitts is safe, but Jonnu Smith, McCole Pruitt, I think those guys are going to Tucker Fisk. You can see him in Pittsburgh as well. So we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. That sucks, man. But it is a business, and contractual differences will unfortunately probably see the exiting of some of these guys. Going to the fullback position, a luxury right now within the organization or within the roster. There is going to be probably no fullback next year within this offense, depending on what style packages they're trotting out. 23 personnel, 11 personnel. I know the Rams did a lot of running out of 11 last year with Curran Williams and stuff like that. So we may not see a fullback active on this roster at all. So, real quick, what do you say, bro?
Again, that's what John Fitzpatrick comes in as well. You can use him as an H-back. So if you want a fullback or H-back in this offense, I think John Fitzpatrick fits that role as well.
Yep, definitely big guy, definitely a big body that can definitely move. Definitely play that position that Smitty was just talking about there. So yeah, I agree with that.
Very nice. Bro, what you got, bro?
Yeah, I mean, we all see it. The fullback position is a dying position. It's more of an H-back, backup tight end, what have you. And I think, you can have John Fitzpatrick. Keith Smith, I think, he got a pretty luxurious deal for the fullback position, but I think that position's eliminated because of the 11 personnel. And if we want to go into a 12 personnel, 13 or 22 or what have you, I think John Fitzpatrick is that H-back that'll be lined up in front of the running back.
Yeah. Very nice, man. Moving on to the cohesive unit that is the offensive line, man. Our mainstay here, Jake Matthews. Matthew Bergeron turned in a fine rookie season last year. Rookie tackle converted to guard out of Syracuse. Drew Dahlman, as we all know, we've all had our bouts with Drew Dahlman on Twitter. Hell, even his sister chimed in a couple of times on Twitter protecting Big Bro. That which was funny to see. And then, Chris Lindstrom, as we all know. But to Jake Matthews, the veteran on the staff, mainstay since 2014, an Ironman in his own right, but he has declined, and he does have a big contract. So, is there anything that we can do in this regard here, or does Jake Matthews come back? Does he come back by default because of his contract, gentlemen?
I think he's another restructured guy like Caleb. I think he comes back. I think the Iron Man aspect that you have, that left tackle that you can depend on. I agree. His production, his pass blocking ability overall has just declined. But this year, the focus is going to be quarterback, wide receiver, so many other pieces on the offense that they're going to be focused on, that Jake is brought back on a restructured deal. And then after that, you look at next year's draft. Maybe you use your first round pick on a new left tackle for your new franchise quarterback. But at this point in structure, again, continuity, familiarity along the offensive line, Dwayne Ledford being there, I think he comes back on a restructure.
Indeed. And I like, getting. I like Ott. I like trying to get Joe Ott and everything. But the only way I see that happening is if we trade for a veteran quarterback like a Fields or those other guys. So that's it's a possibility, but that's the only way I see an offensive lineman getting drafted by us. Now, talking about Jake, you can possibly move him around, put him on the right side, or leave him right there at the left side and possibly still have him restructure his deal, just like Bro was talking about, because it's definitely he's getting long in the tooth. But like you just said, man, Iron Man mentality, someone who's durable, who's been there start after start. You don't just give those guys the boot if you can't figure something out, it's in the way to try to keep him. So I think Jake is here again, just like Caleb, for at least one more year, possibly. And after that, we will see what the Falcons want to go in, the direction that they seem that this team is going to go ahead into.
Well, I'm gonna throw a little wrench in the plans like I always do. And I've said this already as well, and y'all already know. If the Falcons stay at number 8, if they can't move up or they can't or don't want to pay the price to move up, offensive tackle could be another position at number 8 we could be looking at.
That's true.
Because I'm looking at Joe Alt, who I think is a top 5 pick. You look at Olu Fashanu from Penn State, who I did a profile on. Well, I did a profile on both of those guys. But at number 8, you could possibly see them take an offensive lineman because, like I said, Jake is long in the tooth, and that contract is probably going to be the only reason he stays. You get one of those young guys, they can learn them under Jake Matthews, take Caleb McGarry's spot at right tackle until they're ready to go to the left side. Bergeron could play left tackle because he's a tweener type guy. But at the same time, I think at left guard, he's going to flourish right there. So offensive line is solid. We have Dwayne Ledford as coach, but we could see a surprise at number 8 with an offensive lineman if we can't move up, if we can't get the quarterback we want, or if we go and get Justin Fields, that offensive line, you got to have somebody to block his blind side for the next 5 years if he signs a new contract. So offensive line is definitely going to be on my radar at number 8.
That's why I put Art with Fields, I'm saying, first as well too, because you definitely going to have somebody to protect that side. So you bring in Fields, I'm definitely fully expecting offensive tackle, whether it be Ott or my man from Penn State. So I can definitely go for that.
Well, and my thought is if we get Fields at 8, you're getting a wide receiver because one of the top 3 receivers is falling to you at 8. I think. I mean, you have London, you have Neighbors, you have Odunze, you have one of those guys fall to you. I still think Jake is serviceable enough for one more year, and then next year you address the left tackle position.
But you willing
funny
to really
said that, Kevin, because I actually put Rome in my second mock draft at number 8 because I think a guy like that, man, route running, speed, he just a total package. You talk about probably Justin Jefferson 2.0.
Yeah.
So
Rome, he can play.
I would definitely look at that.
Yeah, I like Rome a lot. He can play anywhere on that field, man.
We could say this, man. Washington had 3 great wide receivers last year playing, man. Between him, Jalen Polk, and there's one other guy up there.
Jahan Dotson.
No, he's in the league now.
The Huskies.
The Huskies. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but Washington had some runners out there, man. So anybody that gets any one of the guys mentioned, They're in for a treat, man. Definitely in for a treat.
Hey, and Jalen Pope could be there in the second round. Who knows?
Yeah,
Hey, it's a possibility. This is a deep wide receiver draft right here, y'all. So, and another thing too that another reason why I know we don't jumped off of quarterbacks, but it just hit me. Another thing too, man, it's a possibility the Falcons may not be interested in what happens next year as far as a quarterback class, while they may try to go get their guy this year.
The class next year is not as good as this.
It's weak.
Okay?
It's
very
weak.
weak.
Yeah.
So do you really want to take the risk on missing out on your guy?
And this is
Whether
a
it be
win now
made
team,
or dang.
so you got to take that chance.
Yeah,
Right.
So rounding out the talk, before we jump into other things, Matt Bergeron, we can all say probably going to be a staple left guard, unless something out of left field happens where they flirt with the idea of transitioning him out into one of the bookend positions. And then the much talked about Drew Dahlman's situation, who's still here contractually for one more year. PFF ranked him in the top 10 as a center. I just sometimes you didn't see it, or top 5. Sometimes I didn't see it. Sometimes I was like, oh shit, that was actually a good play by him. It's 50-50 with me on Dahlman, but serviceable enough that he's going to be on the run one more year. And this new offensive scheme might be his calling here. It calls for the center to be, to block at that second level a lot of the times. Kind of like what Alex Mack did with the under that Shanahan offense. Under this offense, you could see some of those variations as well. Dahlman's fleet-footed and good on his feet enough to go ahead and get to the second level impactfully. So it'll be interesting to see him. And Chris Lindstrom, of course, we all know the bell cow of the offensive line. He's not going anywhere. The anchor, basically, yeah. So on the interior, gentlemen, do you guys see any additions? Let's just put it like that. Probably circling more around the center position, but I'll let you guys go for it. Bro, if you want to start it off.
I don't think we see any changes.
Man, Go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't see any changes next year as a starter. I mean, like you said, Drew Dahlman's on his last year of his rookie contract. He's going to play it out. Yes, we saw an up and down year from him, but I think towards the end of the year, he improved his snaps. He improved his blocking. So I think going again with Dwayne Ledford, he can be that. As far as Bergeron goes, I want to keep him at the guard. I know everyone's playing with the idea of maybe sliding him back out to left tackle like he played in college. Well, now he's had a full year at left guard. He's learned that position. He learned the in and outs. To me, moving him to left tackle may take him a step back. I could be wrong. He could plug in and immediately flourish at left tackle. But I think left guard, like you guys pointed out, will be where he makes a name for himself in the league. And then obviously our big man, Chris Lindstrom. I remember when we drafted him, I was like, what are we doing? Offensive guard, really? But he turned out to be one of the better draft picks under the Dan Quinn era. And I think with a restructure, more cap money, he's a team guy. He's willing to take that restructure. I think we have one of the best interior 3 in the league.
So, that's how I felt about McGarry. I said, I'm like, why the heck we drafted McGarry? So we already got Lindstrom. I'm cool with that. Now, Smitty, I know you had a point you was about to
get started. One thing I noticed, man, Ryan Nuzell played pretty well when he came in late in the season.
Sure did.
So they had a guy on the bench that could come in and play, and that's why I think Matt Henderson is going to be expendable this offseason. Because Ryan Nuzell, I think, has sealed up that backup. And who knows? He goes to training camp. He could be the starter next year. So I always tell y'all, man, veterans are always better to have on your offensive line than young guys. I know young guys got to learn, but if you can find a veteran to fill a spot, and I give you a perfect example. Elijah Wilkinson 2 years ago, I seen people saying, man, where they get him from? Where he come from? But when Elijah Wilkinson was on the field those first 6 games, he was blocking as one of the best guards in the league. Let's just keep it real. So, so, I mean, it's just all about what you're looking for and what kind of scheme you're running. So this is probably going to be a more of a passing team now, and they still have the weapons. And I told y'all, this is what I love about why these 3 picks the last 3 years. Even if something goes wrong, Bijan, Drake, and Kyle can fit in any scheme that you put on the field. So,
yes,
we'll see, man. But that center position is important because we've seen what Alex Mack did coming over from Cleveland. And if we can find that type talent in the draft, I'm going for it.
Absolutely, man.
Definitely,
Absolutely,
definitely. I agree. If you can find that talent in the draft, you go for it. If you can find a backup at a decent price in the off season to come in, do so. But other than that, I expect to see Dahlman, or at least I expect them to promote from within as far as the starter goes. Either going to be Dahlman or New Zealand. That's where I'm kind of going for, unless we just have someone just fall in our lap who's a showstopper main event, and I just don't see it happening. But we'll see as we get closer to the draft.
Yeah, man. Damn. Hey, so bro talk, man. Anything you want to add? Anything that you want to, get off your chest or your mind or anything like that? Like we told you, man. We always open the platform to go ahead and let folks, speak their mind, and you definitely have the time now. So go for it, brother.
Get off my chest. I don't know. I think. I mean, I guess the main talking point of last year was the quarterback play.
Yep.
I was a Ritter believer. I thought he could be serviceable enough to get the job done. I didn't think he was going to be elite by any means. I just thought he could make the throws that were needed, hand the ball off. I did not expect all the turnovers that he had. That was a complete shock to me. But to downplay his ability has always kind of not really struck a nerve, but kind of like, what are we looking at? Is he perfect? No quarterback's perfect, but he showed promise, and that's why I had faith last year. But at the same time, it's time to turn the page. It's a new regime. It's time to get the franchise guy, first rounder, trade it for a guy, whoever it is. But I think he stays. And I do have one question for all of you, and I know how they feel around here. If Dak Prescott was a cap casualty for the Cowboys, what's your feeling on bringing him in?
Ooh, goddamn.
Ooh, boy,
That's a Texas-sized question.
Already. So, hey,
Because
I'm gonna jump out first.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be honest, Kev, and I know people don't like it. It's not the popular pick, but with the weapons we have, why not? I mean, contract is not 55, 60 million. It's probably about 40. It's about 42, I think. And with the roster bonus and all, it's like 59. So I look at the money. Yeah, it's a lot of money, but they're going to probably pay most of that contract. And I say, why not? He's still 30 years old? He's still young. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would say, I would go for it.
Very interesting. Old Dak Prescott coming from Texas to Atlanta. Oh boy, that would be a definitely interesting fit. I would definitely say let's just be honest, guys. If Dak Prescott came over here, I'm not high on Dak. Let's just say I'm not high on him, but the weapons, it's the weapons that we have.
But
it's the scheme.
Think about it, Chris.
I'm about to say, like, I'm not high on him, but I can't deny him in Atlanta actually could work. God, that was painful.
And it could work, man. Think about it. You bring in a Dak and still move up the board.
Not from a fan's perspective, but from a football perspective, and just looking at what we got on paper, looking at what we're building, the structure that we're building. Him getting a new fresh scenery, new coaching, new ears, no Jerry Jones. Oh man, it possibly could work.
Well, I can tell you right here in the Dallas market, I could tell you the majority of the fan base around here, they want him gone. They do not see the football aspect of what he can provide for the team. A lot of pressure comes being the quarterback for America's team. You have the star on your helmet. You have Jerry Jones. You have that pressure. So you have all the national media watching you. You go to a market where Atlanta, let's be real, doesn't get a lot of love, whether it's good, bad, or whatever. They just, unless we do something that the national media wants us to do, like hire Belichick or trade for Lamar Jackson, then it's a negative light. They're all like, well, the Falcons organization doesn't want to win, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. So in your point, I think Dak Prescott, I think he's going to stay in Dallas this year, but I was just curious what your thought was on what would happen if he did end up getting cut and what he could do here. And I think if he plugged into Atlanta as a free agent, you draft that first round quarterback, you let Dak maybe on a veteran minimum and see what happens.
See what happens, yeah. A lot of the things that he does, man, they are coachable. He has a lot of traits that are coachable. I don't necessarily think that he goes through his progressions the right way. he kind of gets scared in that aspect. You know, he had forever Dalton Schultz over there, so you see how he heavily favored the tight end position, and a lot of his mistakes were that just keening off on one guy and expecting him to be at a spot, and he wasn't. A lot of turnovers were had on his behalf too. And we got to talk about, you know, the postseason. He has all the postseason lore, but he doesn't show up. And you know, that's the big issue. And does he come to an organization that hasn't had any, you know, playoff success in the past 7 years, or even a playoff appearance? You know, you want to do that with let me just put it like this: if Fields or any of the rookie quarterbacks were to be here and they got us to the playoffs and we lost, I would be okay with just that. You bring in a guy like Dak and he loses in the playoffs, and then people are going to say, damn, we invested on a guy that can't get over the hump. Why
can't get over the hump?
Why did we do that? So
hold on 1 second.
Yep.
Let me ask another question and get your thoughts. Are wins a quarterback stat?
I'm going to say this. Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
Because there could be an argument made that, you know, the defense could have played better in that Sunday that allowed the offense to do minimal work and obviously get the win. But it's always looked at, okay, the quarterback got the win for us.
To counter what you're saying is, so you're saying the reason we lost Super Bowl 51 was Matt Ryan.
Oh,
absolutely not.
Have to say that. Absolutely, we all know the truth. That wasn't the case. No, that's a valid throwback. That's a very valid throwback. I don't blame Matt Ryan. I just blame him for not being more aggressive at that position and making the call for himself. Okay, we're gonna fucking audible. We're gonna run it. You can say all the things that you say. Oh, we've heard him say it on the sideline. No, it's easy to hear one thing. It's another thing to say it. If you play the most important position in that position in the league, you know, as quarterback is, you have to kind of just grab that position by the balls and just be like, all right, no, we're going to audible. This is what we're going to do. This is the way to win. Screw what everybody else has to say. So
I will agree with that. I think that's where Matt Ryan is viewed in a lower light than guys like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, because those guys did have the balls to say, that's a dumbass play. Like that, we're winning. We're gonna churn clock. That's my only knock at Matt Ryan. That's the only knock.
I believe even Joe Flacco would have said something.
Oh my God, hell yeah!
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, hell, Jameis Winston said, "Screw the kneel down and run the ball."
Exactly. I'm just saying, dog. Man, what are we doing here?
That's very true, man.
So it's like for Matt, man. I don't put the Super Bowl on Matt. No, I do not. But I do. Put some of the blame on him just because of what Berto was just saying. Bro, you're our leader. You're our quarterback. Go win the fucking game.
Yeah, you got to tell the offensive coordinator to kiss your behind at some point.
Hey, man. Hey, and the thing about it is, if you want to cut me after that because I won the Super Bowl and I ain't listening to you, so be it. Because the thing about it is that any coach that does that any coach that would have done that would be out of a job anyway. So, or even had that thought would be out of a job anyway. So,
crazy, but man, this has been a tremendous show, man. Go ahead, Chris. No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Sorry, I got it. Just because we still got bro in here, real quick.
Yeah.
All right. Regardless of the quarterback situation. All right. So let's say we bring in a Fields or a Dak or whoever the hell, right? I still believe that with bringing in any of those guys, you should still go get a quarterback, whether if it's in the first round, second round, bringing in a sleeper, a guy that's probably forgotten about.
Did I lose him? Did we lose him?
Oh, yeah. Chris might be in some technical difficulties. Hopefully, when he gets situated, he can finish his question.
Freeze!
He was probably shocked that he was going to ask. I don't know.
What the hell just happened?
Exactly. Damn, bro.
I don't even know what the hell we had left off at.
So you were talking about, like, you know, even if we bring in a Fields or someone like that.
Well, if we're bringing in a Fields, I got you. Even if we bring in a Fields or anybody else like that, I still believe we should draft another quarterback. No matter if it's in the first round or later rounds, I believe we still should bring in a guy, because you bring in Fields and it don't work out, who are you going to have? Absolutely not.
Who are you bringing in?
Absolutely not.
Who are you?
I'm just saying, my bad. Yeah, she you understand, she be bullshitting too.
Oh man, not Joy.
Which round are you taking a quarterback in? Because those
I
skill
positions
are going. Those skill positions are going to go quick.
Indeed. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm talking about worst case possible. Please to break the emergency glass scenarios right now. Bringing in a guy, because I really don't want no quarterback in the second or third round. I want to go get my guy in the first round. But if we don't, so it's a guy who may be forgotten about, who was brought to my attention by my guy Ryan from the Birdcage, Jordan Travis. He played in the ACC, but you can definitely probably get him later rounds, and possibly bring him in and plug him in. People say he's undersized. Go tell that to Drew Brees. So it's just
don't tell that to Doug Flutie either.
Yeah, go tell it to Doug Flutie. Go tell it to Kyler Murray right now. So it's another guy that's another option later rounds. Break the emergency glass, worst case scenario, because I'm still team Jaden Daniels all the way. But just another perspective.
No, man, very valid, very solid, man. Smitty, you got anything you want to add?
Nope, just bullshit. That's it.
Just bullshit. Oh man, just one of those days. But man, we definitely want to thank Bro Talk, or Kev, as the folks know now. This guy's heavily on Twitter, so make sure you go and follow. But Kev, we got to talk about the Super Bowl today, man, and we're gonna leave this to the chat as well. Want you guys to chime in. Predictions for the Super Bowl today: Kansas City, San Francisco. Kev, what do you got?
Oh man, I got Chiefs all the way, 34-28. I think the 49ers will try and lead a last-minute drive, and it's going to come crumbling down. And Brock Purdy, all the glorified Brock Purdy people, it's all going to come down. Oh, well, you know what? He's just a seventh-round guy. Nah. Keep that energy,
Right,
keep the energy that you've had all year. But I got Chiefs all the way. It's just I doubted the Chiefs all postseason. Against the only team I had them beating was the Dolphins. I doubted them against the Bills. I doubted them against the Ravens, and I mean, playoff football is just completely different, and they've been there, they've done that, and they know what it takes to win.
Very nice. Ooh, man, we have a super chat right quick, man, from Super Cantor, man, with the $50 bid, man. Thank you so much for that, man. We definitely truly appreciate that, man. He says, "Happy Super Bowl Sunday, fellas. Lemon pepper wings on me." Yes, sir. If we don't trade up for a quarterback, then double down at tight end and get Brock Bowers, just to be pretty petty towards others. Hey, maybe we trade Kyle Pitts to Pittsburgh. Yeah, who knows? Unite him with Arthur.
Bro.
We're not going to start that. We're not going to start that. Come on. Who do you think I am? Shit starter? Come on, stop. You know me better than that. What do you think, bro? I know you want the lemon pepper wings. I know that's probably the best thing comment for you.
You finna start calling me greedy on live TV. But yeah, man, I definitely wouldn't even think about Brock Bowers, man. I'm gonna be real, because why would you do that? And you have Marvin Harrison there, you have Malik Neighbors, you have Brian Thomas, and so many receivers that you can get and on. And this receiver class is deep, so tight end would be the least of my worries. And it would be pretty petty if they went Brock Bowers. That would be the most pettiest thing I would probably have ever seen. But I would say no times 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It would be a pass for me too on the Brock Bowers situation, even though he comes in tool sharpened, ready to go, man. But we just
whoever gets him is going to get them a football player.
He's a Charger. He's a Charger.
Yeah, he's a Charger. He just has that feel to him, right? Like he's a supercharger. So
especially when Antonio Gates got robbed yesterday. That was just
I agree. Yo, what's good, yo?
Terrible. So,
hey,
Chris,
but I am happy for Steve Mongo McMichael, though.
Hey, Steve Mongo McMichael.
Shout out, man. Battling ALS. Yeah, that's special, man. That's special.
What's your prediction, Chris?
Oh, prediction. I got the Chiefs winning. Shanahan, until you right the wrongs that you did in 2016, there will be no Super Bowl victory for thou.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, I am going Chiefs all the way. I'm not going to go against Mahomes in the biggest game of the season, the biggest game of the year, the biggest spectacle in sports, which is the Super Bowl. I'm not going to go against him and Andy Reid. I think him and Andy Reid gets another one together. I expect to see Ray Rice. Rashid Rice be the. I'm sorry. Oh my God! I promise you, Ray Rice don't say something about me. He watching the live. He like that A1 guy. I like him. So appreciate you, Ray Rice, for checking in the stream. I know you're talking about me. That's the only possible way I can see myself really mentioning you.
You would have came out better saying Rice-A-Roni instead of Ray Rice.
Rashid Rice, I expect him to really take care of business today. He's going to be an X factor. It's going to be Valdez Scantley. I expect also a battle I want to see is Greenlaw or Warner versus Travis Kelce, who has been on one this playoffs. Yes, so I definitely want to see those matchups. These quarterbacks are pocket guys, but are able to get outside the pocket and do things with their legs. You've seen that recently with Brock, but I believe at the last moment, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes coming. I actually believe the 49ers are going to be up, and Patrick Mahomes is going to lead a game-winning drive to crush the San Francisco 49ers.
Legacy drive.
27-23 Chiefs.
You read my mind because I was saying this. I was about to say the same thing. Patrick Mahomes lead the Chiefs down the field for a late game-winning touchdown, 31-24. And like that tight end linebacker matchup, that's probably going to be key Fred Warner against Travis Kelce. Because if he can even remotely try to stop Travis Kelce, the Chiefs have nothing. So if Travis Kelce gets off to a hot start, y'all just look out. And I agree, Marcus Valdez Scantley, I said that as well. I said he probably could be Super Bowl MVP because he's a speed guy. He's the guy that's going to stretch the defense, and he's the guy that's going to make the difference at wide receiver. And that's no slight to Rashid Rice because he's had a great season. But when you get a veteran that knows how to stretch the defense and find holes in the zone, that's key. But I say 31-24 Chiefs.
Man, I'm with bro on this one, man.
K said you better watch out for
34-28, man. 34-28. I think that was the score of the first Super Bowl, wasn't that?
31-24.
31-20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go. I was going with that same one. As a matter of fact, I have a bet with my boss on that when I picked 34-28 Chiefs, man. I learned the lesson, man, 2 weeks ago. Don't bet against Mahomes and Andy Reid, bro. So I'm going to stick to the Chiefs, and we'll see what the Super Bowl does, man. But definitely, man, we want to thank Kev, or known as Bro Talk, for joining us, man. His first live, man. It was a great one. Excellent. All your knowledge, man.
Thank you, guys.
Let the folks know, man, where they can find you on your socials, and if you have any plans coming up soon, please let them know.
Well, you guys can find. I'm mainly on TikTok and Twitter. My Twitter handle isn't Bro Talk; it's my name. Actually, it's funny enough. I started in the content creation space in the gaming aspect. And, when that kind of wasn't really going anywhere, I have my wife to thank me. She was like, why aren't you doing something Falcons related or NFL? You love talking about it. You study it and all that. And I said, I kind of sat on it for a month and I was like, you know what, screw it. And I just started posting and it kind of took off from there. But you can find me on TikTok under Bro Talk. I post daily there. And you guys see it. I'm daily active on Twitter. Posting my mind, love interacting with everyone, getting people's minds, and just eager with all the Falcons news,
Yeah.
So Twitter and TikTok are the big ones. YouTube will be coming soon. It's just I gotta make time like I have been for the other two.
Yeah. Understandable. So, man, we can't wait to have you on the space, and just being able to collaborate with so many of the great groups that we have in this Falcons content creating world, man. So you'll definitely add another element, another perspective, and another POV in this Falcon situation. So
thank you.
Whenever you're ready, man, we can't wait to have you on here. And as always, man, you have an open invitation at all times under this platform. So whenever you feel like you want to talk about something, push an agenda, whatever, let us know, man. We're all any three of us, man, and we'll be more than happy to have you on, brother. So
I appreciate all you guys. Thank you.
Man. Thank you, man.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Chris, socials, man.
You said what? Oh, shoot, man. You can catch me on YouTube, as I'm saying right here at A1 Forever Sports. The show that's cooler and flyer too, man. We be generational. because it's always time to be, and ain't no way we're going to settle for less because you always got more with the vision. So come on over to A1 Forever Sports. Check us out, man. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Come have a conversation. I'm with it all day long on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me A1 Forever. And also on TikTok, the real A1 Forever, as I drop little videos on there as well, too, man. Come holler at me. Come check me out.
Find me on Smitty Sports Machine, man. Y'all already know, man. I'm all in with content this off season. And hey, y'all drop those questions. I keep making videos. So thank y'all for always supporting, man. And thank the chat for dropping in today. On this pop-up show, we're going to have the defensive side of the ball. We don't know when it's going to be, but it's going to be within the next 7 days. That's
yes, sir.
But,
man. Ooh, sorry, Smitty. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to probably, you
got it.
Oh, shit. I was probably going to steal something from you, man, but I think it should not go without saying, man. You know, our brother Smitty here is close to 10K, man. So, in a collective effort to get him to that 10K, man, we just ask him, please, that you go ahead and visit his platform, as it's stated there, man, and get this man to 10K. No one in this game puts more work in than Smitty does, man. Right. And a lot of the stuff that, you know, that we read on a constant and just view on a constant, it's all under this guy's tutelage here. So shout out to you, Smitty, man, and hopefully you can get to that.
Appreciate
10K
it,
soon, brother. Absolutely, man.
Be there real soon.
Yes, sir. Well, as you all know, this is your boy Berto, your host of the 95 North Falcons Talk Show. That's the platform on YouTube, on Twitter. Oh, God. I'm on the RI Falcons. Sometimes I might say stuff. Sometimes I might not. Sometimes I just scroll up and down and just read everybody's comment because everybody's has a lot of wonderful things to say, and you got to pick and choose what you decide you want to tack on, because if not, they'll come for your ass. But it is what it is. I welcome smoke. But that's neither here nor there. You can also find me on Bleacher Report. I'll be on there on Thursday, the 15th. Dicing up something for the folks over there, pushing a narrative on a free agent target for our Atlanta Falcons, as we're just about a month out from there. So that's another platform you can find me on, Bleacher Report. If you don't have the app, please go ahead and download it now. Bleacher Report. Select the Falcons as your favorite team, and you will see when I'm on. If you follow me, 95 North Berto, you'll get my content as soon as it drops on there. But it's been a great show. Again, we thank Kev for taking time out of his busy day to join us and rock with us. For Smooth Smitty, for Chris Tipmore, for Kev, I'm your boy Berto. We'll catch y'all very soon with part 2 of the Falcons off season, and we'll be talking defense this time. So until then, enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll give you a Sunday back. Peace.
We still bullshit.
Peace.
Always.